What's up, YouTube? Brian Van Dyne here. So I wanted to do this video. The last video I did was sucky quality, and so I just wanted to make sure this was real clear for everybody that owns a business and you're thinking about hiring drivers. I wanted to give you like a little bit of insight on how L&I works. So as a trucking business, when you first start out and you first start hiring employees, you have to create an L&I account with workers' compensation, and the way that looks is you start an account and then you start out with a base premium. And as a trucking company, my base premium when I first started hiring employees was $3.50 an hour. And so what that means is every hour an employee works, you as the owner will pay $3.50, right? And then if you have it set up right, you can deduct 50 cents an hour from your employees' paychecks to help pay for that. I mean, which you're still paying for it anyways. It just 50 cents comes out of their paycheck that you're paying. So you're paying $3.50 an hour as an employee. And so now your rate is affected in a few different ways. Either you have no claims and it's not really affected at all, except for it might go down depending on how little claims you have. If you don't have claims at all, then your rate eventually will go down. But if you have claims, then your rate is affected negatively in a sense that they charge you more per hour per employee, right? So the way it works is the more severe of a claim you have, the more it costs, right? And a lot of people make it sound a lot worse than it really is. So I'm just gonna break it down to you how it really is, at least in Washington. As I get out of this job site, some guy parked his pickup truck right in the entrance. So let's say your employee, like let's just go straight up worst case scenario. Let's say you have an employee that has time loss and has a very big medical expense, or they have what's called a permanent partial disability reward or award. They're awarded a permanent partial disability, which is basically, this happened to me when I had my L&I claim back when it was like 2006 or something like that. I was in a crash and I was awarded a permanent partial disability check, and basically L&I wrote me a check for 20 grand because my neck is permanently disabled from the accident I was in. I lost mobility in my neck, right? I can only look so far right and I can look further left. So I was awarded 20 grand. So that's an example of, worst case scenario is when an employee has time loss, which means L&I has to pay for time that he's off the clock because he's injured, and they have to do some sort of medical procedure, and or at the end of it they get a some sort of monetary compensation because of a disability they're going to have permanently, right? So worst case scenario, your L&I rate can only go up 25% in 2 years. So, and the effect doesn't take effect immediately. It happens 3 years from now. So, or 3 years from whenever the claim ends, I believe is how it works. So, let's just say Joe Schmo Trucking, they have an employee you know, that gets hurt, he's on time loss, and he has some sort of medical procedure done, and he will never completely heal. Permanent partial disability or something along those lines. So instead of paying, you know, $3.50 an hour to L&I for every hour that they work, the employer ends up paying $4.30 an hour. Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. Like, people make it out to be like, oh, you're gonna go bankrupt and this and that. That's not the case. I mean, it is a lot of money that you end up paying, but it's spread out, so it's not as bad. So we'll just go with that scenario that I was explaining to you earlier. The guy's on time loss. He gets a reward. He goes back to work. 3 years from that date of the claim ending, then the employer's rate will go up to $4.30 an hour, right? Which basically means, you know, an average employee, or the average employer is going to pay roughly around, you know, with 1 or 2 employees, is going to pay right around $3,800 a quarter. So almost $4,000 a quarter is what, you know, the average company my size is what's going to pay. You know, you got 3 trucks, you got 3 employees, you're going to pay basically almost $4,000 every quarter into L&I. You know, and, you know, when the L&I takes effect, 3 years, you know, if a guy has my business, my size, has an L&I claim, then their rate's going to go up to $4.30 an hour, which is not a big deal at all. Like, people make it sound a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. What that basically means is 25% of, you know, 3,800 or 4,000 is basically $1,000, basically. So you're going to end up paying about $1,000 more per quarter, which in the grand scheme of things, $1,000 is not that much every quarter. You know, when you run an operation this size, I mean, it stings, but it ain't that bad. You know, so it ends up being about $10,000 over a span of 2 years. You know, and that's if you just have one claim that has, you know, worst case scenario, they raise your rate 25%. That's not my particular example. This is not happening in my business 100%. Just giving you a hypothetical. This is what you kind of have to expect when you run a business, and if you have an employee that has a time loss. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people make it sound like, oh, you're going to go bankrupt or they're going to own your business. No, it's not like that at all. It's really a lot more simple than people make it out to be. And part of the problem is a lot of people, they don't know what they're talking about. And so they start, you know, spouting out these, you know, things that they don't really know about. And then you end up thinking you are going to go out of business because you got an L&I claim. That's not what it's out. That's not what it is. So, basically the way L&I rates work is you start out with a base premium. You know, as a truck company, $3.50 an hour is what it is right now in 2020 or 2021, whenever you watch this video. And then if you have an employee that has a claim and its worst case scenario, it goes up 25%, which that's not a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it ain't that much. It's only like 70 cents an hour. So I just wanted to clear that up. You know, I have full faith my employee's gonna get back. You know, we're gonna be working great. He's gonna go back to work. you know. That's all I really have to say. I don't want to get into it too much, talking about my employees because of all the legal ramifications of everything. And I don't know, like, what is too much to say and what is too, you know, not enough. I just don't want to get into it too much with you guys. I try to keep an open book with you guys, you know, as much as I can, but there are, you know, a lot of legal aspects that affect what I tell you, because people can perceive it the wrong way, and they can take it the wrong way, and they can try and sue you for it. So, I don't think I said anything that, you know, was out of line. Just let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think about L&I and the rates and all that stuff, and you know, hopefully you guys don't have to pay for something like that, but if you do, you know, at least it helps out the employees if they have, you know, any type of accident occur on the job site. So anyways, pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, share this on your social media site of preference, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.